Are you an electric eel? Because you just gave my funny bone a major shock. Boing, 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 boing. Anyway, today we're gonna be reacting to Defunctland, the history of the worst SeaWorld ride, Submarine Quest. So let's jump right in. Whoa. Wow, Kevin.
On March 19th, 2015, it was announced that Joel Manby would become the new CEO of SeaWorld Entertainment. Manby...
Oh my gosh, is this one of those stories where there becomes a new CEO to a theme park and they either blow the theme park up and like make it super successful, or they completely demolish the theme park and they run it to the ground? I mean, seeing like, you know, where SeaWorld is headed now, I think I might have an idea of what happened.
was previously the CEO of Hershend Enterprises, the largest family-owned amusement park company in the United States. The charismatic Manby had a proven track record in the theme park industry, and was even somewhat of a public figure after appearing on the CBS reality show Undercover Boss. Manby faced a great challenge when he took the helm at SeaWorld.
Okay, so he had the qualifications. Surely this will go well if he has all the qualifications you need to run a theme park.
The corporation's portfolio consisted of 6 parks: Busch Gardens Williamsburg, Busch Gardens Tampa, Sesame Place in Pennsylvania, and 3 SeaWorld branded amusement parks. The original, SeaWorld San Diego, which opened in 1964, SeaWorld Orlando, which opened in 1973, and SeaWorld San Antonio, which opened in 1988. It was no secret why the position of...
Man, I totally forgot. SeaWorld's really old. It opened in like the 70s or the 60s? I guess they didn't really have like a lot of entertainment back then. They didn't have like a bunch of different roller coasters and iPads, but that's still pretty impressive.
CEO was vacant. As for the past 2 years, SeaWorld had been in crisis mode. In 2013, the documentary Blackfish premiered. The film was a scathing look at the treatment of captive orcas, specifically those held and bred at SeaWorld amusement parks. By the end of 2013, the documentary was airing regularly on CNN, and activists, government officials, and the general public as a whole were putting overwhelming pressure on SeaWorld to end their signature orca program.
Yeah, to be honest, like, I feel like they definitely had a point. Like, they had, like, the whales or orcas, from what I saw, they had, like, those giant ones and, like, tiny little tanks. Like, they probably are just so depressed, and they're essentially, like, slaves. Literally performing tricks for, like, the public. It was really bad.
Manby assumed the position of...
Also, I heard that one of them killed somebody.
CEO at the height of this crisis. Up to this point, SeaWorld's main response to the outcry had been to attack the documentary, the filmmakers, and the interviewees. But this only made matters worse. So the company pivoted to improving the living conditions of its orcas. In August of 2014, SeaWorld had announced an initiative titled the Blue World Project. That, if approved, would almost double the size of the orca tanks at SeaWorld San Diego, and subsequently in San Antonio and Orlando.
Double the size? But if the size is already too small for them, what is double gonna do? Like, they just don't belong in tanks. They're not, like, fish aren't, like, pets. These are, like, wild animals. There's a difference between, like, being rehabilitated. So these are, like, animals that cannot live in the wild, and they're used for, like, rehabilitation and, like, conservation work, and they are, like, representatives of, like, oh, this is what happens when you litter, or this is what happens when you, like, fish in places where you're not supposed to fish, or it's illegal, blah, blah, blah. But this is literally, they're literally capturing these whales in order to perform for a public. Like, there's no reason why they should be in tanks. They can live out in the real world.
Manby joined the company. This project was still awaiting approval by the California Coastal Commission, which had jurisdiction over construction projects in the California Coastal Zone, which included SeaWorld San Diego, which sits in San Diego's Mission Bay. Just over 6 months after Manby joined SeaWorld, the commission approved the Blue World Project, but only on the condition that SeaWorld stop breeding and transferring orcas, effectively forcing them to end their orca program entirely once the park's current orcas passed. SeaWorld planned...
Wait, so then why would they even... That's such a funny catch-22. Because if, like, oh, we're gonna make the tanks bigger so that way we'll have orca shows, they'll be happier, right? And they're like, yeah, you can make the tanks bigger on the one condition you don't breed any more orcas. Like, why would they do that if they can't have any more orcas?
To sue the Coastal Commission to have the conditions removed, but Manby was already taking SeaWorld in a new direction. The month after the commission's conditional approval, Manby held a conference call with investors in which he outlined a new vision for the company.
Oh?
Manby's plan was to shift focus away from animal shows and put resources into more traditional amusement park attractions with a nautical theme.
That's
In
smart.
the call, Manby announced 3 new attractions, all themed after a single television show named Sea Rescue.
Sea Rescue.
Sea Rescue was a documentary series that followed a group of veterinarians and experts attempting to rescue and rehabilitate marine life.
Aww.
The first attraction based off of the show was a unique roller coaster named SeaWorld Rescue: The Ride, which would be constructed for SeaWorld San Antonio.
Oh, that's
Another
so cool.
was tentatively titled SeaWorld Rescue, and concept art depicted guests sporting a rescue truck and receiving unique views of an aquarium. This
Wow.
attraction was earmarked for SeaWorld Orlando. Finally, the third attraction would be a submarine ride named Ocean Explorer,
These look
to be
so
built
cool.
at SeaWorld San Diego. The Sea Rescue rides were multi-million-dollar attractions, and in order to pay for them, Manby explained that he was diverting money away from the Blue World project.
I think I've been to one of the SeaWorlds, like in California, but I saw a video of a SeaWorld in Abu Dhabi, and it's like the world's first like billion-dollar theme park. And it's just this crazy SeaWorld aquarium, like huge. I really want to go there, even though apparently SeaWorld's not that good. I don't know, it just looks really cool, and I love theme parks.
4 months later, in March of 2016, Manby made the decision to end SeaWorld's orca breeding program. The following month, SeaWorld announced that the Blue World project had officially been canceled, and as Manby had outlined, the money was instead invested in new attractions for SeaWorld's 3
Okay,
parks.
that's smart.
While the Sea Rescue truck ride for Orlando would be scrapped, SeaWorld San Antonio would receive its Sea Rescue attraction, a double-launch
Whoa.
coaster now titled Wavebreaker, the Rescue Coaster.
That's
SeaWorld
so
San Diego
sick.
would also receive its Submarine ride, but the company was now promising much more. In
Oh?
February of 2016, SeaWorld announced that a new 3-acre section, or a new realm as it was officially called, would be added to SeaWorld San Diego named Ocean Explorer. The children's area would feature aquariums, rides, and digital technologies, all focused.
Okay, SeaWorld is so fun. It's definitely fun for kids, but I feel like if you're an adult and you take a little gummy, SeaWorld is like the best time. Like, it's just a giant aquarium with like coasters and everything. It's such a good vibe. I feel like they could make it such a cool vibe, but I don't know what happened.
Focused on exploration and adventure, with a theme of ocean conservation. On top of some small flat-top rides, the area would feature a flagship attraction, named Submarine Quest. This was the
Ooh.
realization of the attraction that Manby had announced months earlier in his conference call. The press release for the ride explained that, quote, guests would be adventurers on a global expedition of scientific exploration, traveling aboard submarines to see ocean explorers' remarkable undersea animals.
That's so
Concept
cool.
art of the
I
area-
imagine this also would get like kids that were super into like animal and marine life and maybe conservation as an adult. Like it kind of introduces them into that world that they could like eventually work in later in life.
Showed some of the marine life children would be able to interact with and torment incessantly with new creative glass placement. This concept art was either hastily made or sloppily made, or both, with some really poor compositing, as seen by the
Ooh.
piece of concept art for Submarine Quest. While these seem to just be stock photos quickly placed inside a rendering of the submarine, the
Yeah.
inclusion of this kid is perfect foreshadowing. Construction began in the summer of 2016, and the realm was scheduled to open in late spring of 2017.
Okay.
Ocean Explorer would be built just to the right of the park's entrance, on a relatively empty parcel next to one of the park's cafes. A flag
I have a feeling this ride is not going to get built, but that's so concerning that they started building this ride. Oh no.
display and a small animal viewing area would be removed to make way for the new realm. Concept art for the land was circulated as construction began, and it appeared that the area's signature attraction, despite the name Submarine,
The concept art for theme parks looks so much cooler than what the theme park actually ends up being. Like, the concept art is always so, like, fun, and it has a lot more color and, like, unique lines. But then you get to the real theme park, and it's just, like, it's fun, it's cool, but it's just not what you expected it to be.
West would actually be an elevated dark ride with outdoor sections, similar to Disney's People Mover attraction and the High in the Sky Seuss Trolley
No,
Train ride
that's
at
sick.
Universal Studios Islands of Adventure. Both of these attractions were gentle trips around their respective lands, providing guests a relaxing outdoor ride with some short dark ride portions.
Mm-hmm.
With Submarine Quest, it was assumed that these dark ride portions would be more elaborate, providing guests with special views of the new aquarium during their adventure. In a statement, SeaWorld assured the public that Submarine Quest would not be a shoot-'em-up style dark ride, even though no one considered that this was a possibility.
Yeah, what?
Instead, the press release explained that by, quote, using digital touchscreens mounted in the ride vehicles, riders will play games and score points as they spot ocean creatures during the indoor and outdoor journey. The company launched a significant media campaign to coincide.
Okay, I cannot even like conceptualize. So you're on like a people mover and you're going through indoor and outdoor sections, but you're also like playing a game on an iPad identifying fish. I don't know if I can even wrap my head around it. That's actually really how would they be able to do that?
With the release of the new realm.
Every time that I go on one of those rides where you go and you like have to shoot to get points or whatever, I always just don't do it. I opt out because I rather just sit and enjoy the ride. I don't have to like play a video game while I'm trying to ride a ride.
SeaWorld San Diego published a video series on YouTube titled Meet the Deep, in which hosts Mike and Jenna chronicled the area and specifically Submarine Quest development and construction. The Meet the Deep series is quite possibly the most in-depth documentation of a ride's construction by a theme park. The web series explores almost every aspect of construction. In the third episode, Mike and Jenna introduce Brian Morrow, Vice President of Theme Park Experience Design. Brian shows off the model ride vehicle for Submarine Quest and explains
Dream job for real. Dream job for real. You could set the design a theme park? Well, there's probably a lot of technical stuff that goes into it, but like I imagine it's just so exciting to like have your visions come to life and then have like millions of people experience it every day.
Interactive elements that were being installed in the ride, noting the touch.
Also, this is going to be so embarrassing if this ride never comes to fruition. This is actually going to be the most embarrassing thing because they made a whole TV show. They already started construction. Surely the ride will be made, right?
Game that would be the attraction's signature feature. Days after this Meet the Deep episode was published, the final ride vehicle model was revealed at the International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions Expo in 2016, and it was revealed
so cool. I want to go there.
Fashion.
Whoa! Wait, I'm so sorry. Can we back that up a little bit? Do you guys notice this is just a wall with a blanket? But when he reveals it, there's no walls on the side, so nothing was covering this up. He just revealed it. They put a blanket up just for the sake of like someone catching it on video, the great reveal. But in reality, it was in the open the entire time. Oh my god. Also, this thing is tiny. It's actually so small.
A trailer was also released during the expo with a new opening date of summer 2017.
Punch in your coordinates. Set a course for discovery. Dive into Ocean Explorer.
Wow.
Whole new realm at SeaWorld.
In January of 2017, a Meet the Deep episode was published in which Brian gave a tour of Chance Rides in Wichita, Kansas, which was the manufacturer for the attraction. They gave
it looks way bigger now.
Full-scale sub still in production, complete with lighting and the touchscreen game. The next episode featured Mike and Jenna actually playing this game.
You know a ride I actually would ride and be interested in? Do you remember that submarine that was like looking for the Titanic or whatever? That would be kind of a cool ride if someone made the submarine experience. Yeah. The one that exploded. I feel like that would be so interesting because I sometimes wonder like, oh, how did they, like, what did they feel in that?
It was explained that the in-ride game would feature difficulty resistance, so that it was challenging for players of all ages. It was also revealed that there would be different levels of awards depending on how well the riders played. Also during this time, SeaWorld announced that a new roller coaster named Electric Eel would debut at SeaWorld San Diego in 2018. This coaster would be...
Okay, I'll give it to them. SeaWorld does have like some of the best coasters, genuinely. Obviously, I think top coasters are probably like all the Universal Studios coasters. I think SeaWorld is like just below them. And then after SeaWorld, it would be like Disney coasters because Disney coasters are more kid friendly. But Universal and SeaWorld, they like are pretty adult friendly.
Part of a Phase 2 expansion to the Ocean Explorer realm.
Wow.
Throughout the spring of 2017, as construction crews were putting the finishing touches on the new land, Meet the Deep walked the site multiple times. In April, SeaWorld held a ceremony to unveil the final submarine to park guests.
3, 2, 1. That's so exciting! Wow.
The submarine remained on display as construction neared completion.
Yippee!
Ocean Explorer and Submarine Quest had an impressive turnaround time. Despite being delayed from spring to summer of 2017, the new land was still set to debut just 16 months after being announced.
Wow.
No one seemed more excited.
Wow. You guys don't understand how quick that is. That is, like, so quick. 16 months after being announced, it's set to be debuting. That is probably like a speed run for for theme park announcements. I feel like every single theme park that gets announced, they're always announced to be like 1 year, and then they actually get revealed like 3 to 5 years later.
For the land to open than those internally at SeaWorld. Executives and the ride's designers hoped that enthusiasm would spread to guests. Tempting fate, SeaWorld San Diego president John Riley said, quote, "Our guest response to new attractions has always been tremendously positive."
Yay!
On June 1st, 2017, Ocean Explorer held its grand opening ceremony. SeaWorld pulled out all of the stops for the event. There were ribbon wavers, confetti, flares, the eel from a discontinued ice show at Busch Gardens Tampa, and they even got a bubble guy.
Wow.
With the realm now open, dozens of guests who had waited minutes for the land's opening casually
party.
Walked inside the new world.
You cannot underestimate the freaking the power of a bubble party. Kids and adults alike, everyone loves a good bubble party, okay?
Exploration, discovery, and conservation. By apparently immediately trampling the plants due to lack of fencing.
Oh.
Ocean Explorer featured 4 new kiddie rides: Sea Dragon Drop,
Aww.
the Octorock, Aqua Scout, and the most well-received, Tentacle Twirl.
Tentacle
the aquariums
Twirl.
throughout Ocean Explorer were quite small, but they did feature the unique viewing angles as promised. There was also an interactive attraction, the Skill Training Pod, as well as the Explorer's Cafe, whose signage choices were a bit confusing as everything else in the land is designed for small children, except for the craft beer.
Dude, how does Starbucks get into every single theme park? I feel like every single theme park I go to, Starbucks is there. I don't know what kind of like madness, what kind of deals with the devil that they're making. They're literally everywhere. You know, the other day I went to a Starbucks and then I was like, oh, I need to go down the street to get some groceries. I go down the street, I look across the street from the grocery store, there's another Starbucks. There was literally 2 Starbucks within 1 mile of each other. What?
Apparently. The signature attraction was, of course, Submarine Quest. The ride vehicles could be seen as guests entered the land, making their way around the ride track. After hearing a year's worth of press describing the ride as an immersive and interactive experience, many guests were excited and curious about what the ride had in store.
Yeah.
Guests entered the attraction through the outdoor queue, with television screens featuring a host named Sub-Commander Sparks, giving the ride safety spiel, and introducing his companion, Link, the ride's star and the land's mascot.
That's Link, the ROV. Remotely operated vehicle of exploration and research.
Oh, rover.
Supercomputer of the sea.
Spot.
Just Link will do.
A figure of Link could also be found at the realm's entrance. After entering the loading station, guests passed by a few simple art pieces and immediately boarded their subs. There were 7 subs, each with a special name, with no clear direction or pattern.
This looks so
2 of them are named after parts of a ship, axle and rudder. One of them is a fish with a first name, Macy Mackerel, and another is just a first name with a nautical adjective, Bubbly Bailey. As guests sat in the ride vehicle, Sub-Commander Sparks returned to instruct riders to pull down on their lap bar before Link joined him for the voyage. Sub-Commander Sparks told riders to tap the screen in order to release the airlock, and guests began their expedition into the majesty of the deep, blue, blinding sunlight.
Oh my god.
After passing by trees and concrete, guests entered the first show scene of Submarine Quest, which was that of a deep-sea coral reef. This scene is supposed to be in the Twilight Zone, a zone that is so deep below the surface that sunlight cannot reach it. Of course, the ride represents this in broad daylight with 2 screens that briefly display an octopus.
Whoa, that octopus was totally camouflaged!
After the Twilight Zone was the Sunlight Zone, where guests saw...
What? Like, you didn't even get to see the octopus. I would have missed the octopus. I would just be like, oh, this one's about the coral reef?
Eels.
Eels?
Click faster.
Sub-Commander Sparks detects a large animal ahead, and guests begin a pursuit. Riders are able to see Link in front of them. This static figure featured a digital face that never quite synced up with the audio from the ride.
What the heck? You can't even see it. It's so bright outside. I can't even see the screen. Oh my gosh. I thought this was gonna be cool.
The 2 decide to send out the Beacon Buddies on a mission.
Wow, look at this genuinely amazing experience.
Oh my god.
Totally cannot be replicated.
Wait,
The Beacon Buddies find huge jellyfish and something even bigger ahead. As guests escape to the old sea pod to take a look, riders
we're
are
going
instructed
inside?
to open another hatch, despite the hatch always opening before the instruction audio is finished.
Oh.
Open the hatch.
Open the hatch.
The sub then enters a sea pod full of screens that display a giant CGI squid.
Whoa.
After a brief stop in the sea pod, riders open the escape hatch and re-enter the ocean, just as the squid breaks the glass on the sea pod and releases ink. As guests exit the pod, water sprays at riders. The water effect was incredibly inconsistent.
Wait, so the ocean is meant to be the outdoors? They're trying to make it seem like you're in an ocean when you're literally outdoor in the sky above everybody else? Because the freaking ride is like above people. That is so funny. Why couldn't they just made this an indoor ride?
And it is not clear whether the water was triggered by a game mechanism and only appeared sometimes, or if it was simply an unreliable effect. It was shot from the left of the ride vehicles, and instead of giving all of the riders a light mist, it just hosed the rider in the front left seat.
Oh my god!
After this scene, the subs take a final turn back into the loading station.
I hate water rides with a passion. They always make me feel so like gross and sticky afterwards, unless it's like, you know, in the middle of summer and I'm gonna dry off right away. Water rides kind of suck. They like dampen my day. I would only ride one if I'm like at the end of the day and I'm at the theme park.
During this short segment, guests found out what type of explorer they were. There were 3 options.
Master Explorer,
Junior
Super
Explorer,
Explorer,
Super
Junior
Explorer, and Master Explorer. Even though in playtesting,
I'm a Master Explorer.
scored Marine Veterinarian, which did not seem to be an option that made it into the final game.
What?
Guests then re-entered the loading station and exited their vehicles. Incredibly, Submarine Quest was not a hit with guests, and this is putting it lightly. In general, guests were shocked to find out that Submarine Quest was neither sub nor marine, as it took place 15 feet above the ground in the open air. The outdoor show scenes were sparse, and the one dark ride scene was a disappointment. The ride
It feels like they spent so much money for it to be so bad. They might as well have, like, if they didn't have the budget to make it like an underground, super cool tunnel marine-esque ride, they might as well have just made this like another type of people mover where you just sit down and enjoy the view.
Look better at night, as there was at least a chance of the illusion of being in the deep ocean, but sunset in the summer in San Diego is around 8 p.m., and most nights, SeaWorld closed at 9. The creative decisions made for the ride were quite confusing. Many guests speculated that the ride had its budget cut late in development.
Oh, so you see like the little swirly pink stuff? This was meant to be like the tunnels that you go in, but I guess that's like the area in which you have the squid come. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. The way that this was depicted, it makes it seem like it was supposed to be outdoors the entire time. Like, it doesn't really seem like there was any way they could make it seem as if it was underwater.
Which could be possible, but concept art for the land did display the ride almost exactly as it was built.
Yeah.
Supposedly, the initial plans called for the ride track to be longer and mostly enclosed in a tube. However, it seemed that a significant portion of the budget was put into research and development for the unique ride vehicle rather than putting that money towards show scenes. The designers clearly took a lot of pride in their work, and it seems as though this part of the experience was built more or less from the ground up, which is theoretically impressive. However, in practice, all that is noticeable is the inherent and consistent flaws in the mechanics of the game, most obvious in the confusion during the Beacon Buddies section, which was present all the way back during playtesting.
Tap the screen to deploy the Beacon Buddies.
Other criticisms included the screens being difficult to see in the sunlight and that the voice of Link was obnoxious. To add insult to injury, the entire realm had a branding problem, as seemingly everyone...
I feel like people overthink what kids need. Sometimes I'm like, you know, I get that you want to give a kid an iPad because then they'll just like be quiet and they'll like zombify into the iPad. But also, when I was a kid, I had fun with like a big red button. You give me a big red button, a big green button, and big blue button, I would have amazing. Octopus for big red, shark for big blue, jellyfish for big purple or whatever, and I just press the button and you go, yippee, you did the right one, you picked the right one. Like, that'd be awesome. You don't have to go all crazy with this iPad and making iPad games. Like, they have those at home.
I believe that Ocean Explorer was the name of the ride and not the name of the realm.
What the heck is this Ocean Explorer ride car?
So, Ocean Explorer is actually the name of the whole land.
On June 3rd, 2 days after the ride's debut, the San Diego Union Tribune released a scathing review of the ride, saying, quote, "The biggest disappointment is the heavily promoted Submarine quest. SeaWorld is touting it as a high-tech trip through the ocean ecosystem, but it turns out to be a slow-moving track ride past a few animated animals on video screens." Brady McDonald of the Orlando Sentinel said, quote, "The new land centerpiece ride is basically a slow-moving transportation system that doesn't take you anywhere and encourages you to ignore your surroundings."
That is true. That's what I was saying about the iPad. Like, you could just look around. Also, the drama for a theme park ride, what is it, critic? He like gave him such a bad review. Oh my gosh. I bet this guy was seething.
On August 8th, 2017, during SeaWorld's Q2 earnings call, Manby stated that Ocean Explorer had been a disappointment. He said, quote, "I think the one thing that I'm not satisfied with is Ocean Explorer. We did not market this as well as I wanted to. It's completely designed for young children, and we need to make sure that's the case." A sign was quickly placed outside the attraction clarifying that the ride was intended for smaller guests, despite initial marketing claiming it was for all ages. However, poor marketing and bad reviews would not be Submarine Quest's only.
Actually, it's for babies, so if you don't like it, that just means you're not a baby. And why would you complain about playing with baby toys and not liking them? You're obviously not a baby. Of course you're not gonna like it. Check and mate.
Problems, as technical issues plagued the attraction as well. The ride often had a significant wait, as only 2 to 3 subs were run at a time, rather than the 7 the ride was capable of. This was only a problem when the ride was operating, which it frequently was not. Throughout the ride's debut summer, Submarine Quest was constantly closed for maintenance. By September, frequent guests noticed that the ride was barely ever open. One visitor noted that they had been 4 times since the ride's debut, and the attraction had been closed all 4 times. The ride operated intermittently throughout the summer of 2017, but was closed for most of the fall. It did reopen in December, and on December 30th, 2017, during the busy winter holiday,
the day before the holiday,
accumulated a 130-minute wait time, baffling those that had already ridden.
Wait, how long is that? That's like 60 minutes is 1 hour. I'm gonna do the math. 13 minus 6 is 3, 4, 7. 60 minutes and then 70 minutes. So that's 2 hours and 10 minutes.
6, 7.
Oh my god. For that ride? 2 hours and 10 minutes? That's a freaking ripoff.
In the attraction.
That's like Disney wait times. Why the heck are people waiting that long for SeaWorld? Maybe SeaWorld was like super popular. I don't know.
This was one of the last days of operation for Submarine Quest. It is unclear if the ride operated in early January or when its true final day of operation was. But by mid-January 2018, a mere 7 months after opening, the doors to Submarine Quest were blocked off, leaving guests speculating on the future of the ride.
No!
On February 28, 2018, SeaWorld CEO Joel Manby resigned from his position at the company after less than 3 years as the chief executive. Falling attendance and steep quarterly losses were cited as the main reason for Manby's exit. But multiple publications were quick to mention the recent failure of the Submarine Quest attraction. While clearly not the main reason for his departure, the realm's failure could
Wait, he left? Hold on. He resigned. Oh my god, I didn't even process that. Sorry, I was more focused on this. He's like drinking a Diet Coke while doing some sort of talk? TED Talk or something?
cited as the main reason for Manby's exit. But multiple publications were quick to mention the recent failure of the Submarine Quest attraction. While clearly
okay,
not
he
the
did
main
not resign because of the failure of the SeaWorld, like, submarine children's ride in Kittyland. He probably resigned because he was stressed and he made a lot of money. So he's like, I'm just gonna go live in Hawaii.
Reason for his departure, the realm's failure could have been a contributing factor. Just 4 days later, it was announced that Chief Creative Officer Anthony Esparza and Vice President of Theme Park Experience Design, Brian Morrow, were resigning from their roles as well.
Wait,
Many
what?
online again wondered if the resignations were related to the poor reception of the Ocean Explorer realm.
Oh
but
my
this is merely
God.
speculation. Other rumors circulated attempting to make sense of the ride's closure. Some believe that
Okay, the only reason I think those people would resign is because the park was heading towards bankruptcy, or there was some sort of acquisition that was going to happen. That's the only thing I could think they're resigning for. The only other thing, which I don't even think is possible, is they got like bought out by another like theme agency or something. Like Disney came in and said, oh, we want to hire you guys, we'll give you a better salary with way less responsibility, which could have been the case, but I don't know, that's actually really weird. 3?
injury had occurred on the ride, or that SeaWorld was suing either the designers or the manufacturers over technical issues. Currently, there is no evidence to support these claims. Without explanation, Submarine Quest remained closed throughout the spring of 2018. In May, the San Diego Union Tribune ran a piece on the attraction. SeaWorld San Diego's official statement on the ride was, quote, "As we've conveyed to our park guests who've asked, the Submarine Quest ride at Ocean Explorer is currently undergoing maintenance. As soon as there is additional information, we will communicate that to you and our guests."
They never want to tell you when the ride has been retired. They always say, oh, it's just going under maintenance. Oh, we're just maintaining it. They never want to say, like, oh, no, it's closed forever. And they must have, like, some legal contract that they're trying to bypass. I don't know. It's so interesting. It goes so deep. The drama. I want to see people, like, running and screaming and throwing papers everywhere. The submarine attraction is a failure.
Theme park consultant Dennis Spiegel believed that the maintenance issues were not so severe that the ride needed to be shut down, but rather the public's response to the ride was so overwhelmingly negative that it was best to keep it closed. Despite the open-ended response on the ride status, SeaWorld removed all mention of the ride from the park's website. The attraction's name was soon removed from the park's maps as well.
Dang, they didn't learn a lesson. All publicity is good publicity. Isn't that so cool, though? Like, if it's getting such bad publicity, why doesn't it stay open and just get the rides going? You know what I mean? Like, people go, oh, you know that one SeaWorld ride? It just sucks so bad. We should go ride it. You know what I mean? I don't know, maybe I don't know enough about this, but I feel like there's no sense in just completely shutting it down.
With the illustration being modified to remove the ride cars. On May 10, 2018, Electric Eel debuted at SeaWorld San Diego. Billed as an addition to the Ocean Explorer area despite being fairly disconnected from it geographically.
Oh my gosh.
The short coaster was received well, and it effectively distracted guests from Submarine Quest's continued closure.
Oh, perfect.
In the summer of 2018, leftover Submarine Quest toys could be found at SeaWorld Orlando and Busch Gardens Tampa, despite the ride remaining closed and also being on the other side of the country. On July 2nd, 2018, Legoland, California, a theme park just 30 miles north of SeaWorld San Diego.
There's a Legoland? I want to go to Legoland. What?
Debuted their own submarine ride, named Lego City Deep Sea Adventure.
Oh my god, is it literally 10 times better than the SeaWorld submarine? No way! Dude, Lego always does it better, man. Even their games, they always do it better.
We placed guests under the water to view real sea creatures, which also featured more story and more show scenes. With a longer ride time and an actual feeling of discovery and exploration, Lego Submarine Ride was everything that guests wanted and expected from Submarine Quest, and audiences were quick to notice the juxtaposition.
Dang.
In October of 2018, 16 months after its opening and
getting mogged by Legoland is crazy.
10 months after its closure, the sign for Submarine Quest was taken down. The ride sat dormant for over a year while the rest of Ocean Explorer continued to operate. On March 16, 2020, SeaWorld announced the closure of all its theme parks due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh,
SeaWorld San Diego was the last of the SeaWorld parks to reopen, not opening its gates until April 12, 2021.
Dang.
When it did, it was revealed that work walls had been constructed.
I feel like that's not their fault. Like, COVID was a big and serious thing, so it sucks because it just affected every business except fast food. Fast food got really crazy popular. Like, you see how Chick-fil-A blew up at COVID? Oh my goodness.
Around Submarine Quest. One guest noted that about 20% of the ride track has been removed, including the building for the ride's only dark ride portion, confirming that Submarine Quest is now officially defunct.
No.
Submarine Quest is a perplexing story. Most tales of ride failures have an obvious contributing factor, such as a budget cut, a mechanical flaw, a rush to market, or a world-shattering news event that suddenly makes the initial concept taboo halfway through development. However, Submarine Quest does not have an
I wonder what that world-shattering news event was.
Obvious hurdle. While budget, time constraints, and mechanics certainly could have contributed to the attraction's failure, based on available information, it seems just as likely that it was simply a bad idea with bad execution. The design team clearly put a lot of energy and thought into the attraction, but in all of the wrong areas, and the heavy marketing efforts and enthusiasm.
Hey, like, you win some, you lose some. That's what happens when you take risks and chances. You just you don't always hit the mark sometimes. It's hard. It's like video games too. Like, it's hard to know what the public will think of a ride or a game until you actually do some sort of play test. And these are even harder because they have to commit so much money into construction and building and marketing. By the time that the ride is already ready to go, it's hard to just like take it back suddenly. You kind of have to fully commit, and then if it sucks, then you're like, okay, well, I guess we lose those millions of dollars.
From SeaWorld staff could not distract from the ride's glaring and overwhelming creative failures. Submarine Quest is not only a result of the precarious position SeaWorld was in at the time of its construction, it's also a perfect representation of it. Submarine Quest, like SeaWorld, had a huge identity problem.
It did.
It did not know what it should be, and it certainly did not know what audiences wanted from it. As SeaWorld continues to rebrand and evolve, the company can only hope that their parks as a whole meet a different fate than that of Submarine Quest.
Dang.
It's the greatest dark ride in the world.
The greatest dark ride in the world. Well, let's be honest, if it was an actual true dark ride, like in a tunnel the entire time, there would just be a bunch of, you know, kids trying to make out in it. Just like the Garfield one. I feel like it's kind of good that it's out in the open. Yippee! Wow. Dum 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 dum. Dang, he has like a whole bit of people producing these videos. That's wow. Yippee! I love Defunctland. He always has such cool, informative videos. I kind of wanted to learn more about that Lego land place. That place looks sick. I wonder if you could build Legos there. Thank you so much for watching this epic react video. Let me know in the comments down below if you liked it, if you'd like me to watch different Defunctland videos. I'm always open to watching more of his videos. I love theme parks. I love his videos. I'll leave a playlist for you on your left for all the other Defunctland stuff. And then you can subscribe on the right. Just click on my face or the button down below. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and hype the video. I stream on Twitch if you want to come say hi. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye. Mwah.